Hi, Elizabeth. Happy to have you here. And actually, at AdTech Woman Power, presented by Blasto, programmatic full-scale ecosystem, we highlight the journeys of women shaping the future of programmatic advertising and also retail media. So my name is Polina. I am CMO at Blasto, and I'm speaking with Elizabeth Smith, Global VP of Customer Success at Particular Audience, about leadership, about AI in retail, and navigating the AdTech ecosystem. So really happy to have you here and that you can finally join our conversation.
Thank you, Polina. Really, really happy to be with you. Thanks for having me on.
Yes, so we will start from a really nice conversation and first question. So let's begin with your transition from traditional retail to an AI-driven company like Particular Audience. So was there a specific moment or conversation that pushed you to make that leap? And if we had met you during the first week at your job, what would you have been privately worried about?
Yeah, good question. Interesting question. It's funny because whilst from the outside it might seem that it was a big leap to go from my role at IKEA and my previous roles to my role at Particular Audience, actually from inside, from my perspective, it didn't feel like a seismic shift, really. It felt as if each of the roles I had done in the past were maybe taking a step closer towards digital and towards AI, and that there wasn't such a kind of enormous rupture in a way. Maybe to give you some context, so my first role in retail was an internship when I was living in Paris during a sandwich year of my degree. And I just kind of really speculatively sent some CVs to some brands that I loved, and was lucky enough to be offered an internship with a fashion brand. So that was my really first experience of retail. From there, I did a couple more internships before getting my first paid position, which was with a lingerie brand, a boutique in London. And that was a merchandising role. But even at that point, I was kind of starting to dabble in digital a bit. So that was 2011, 2012, something like that. So kind of the early days, really, of e-commerce. But I was supporting the marketing team with their efforts in digital marketing and digital sales, from, kind of helping enable the products on the website to helping pick and dispatch the orders, so kind of all of that. And then after that, I moved to a beauty brand, and that was a merchandising role, again, similar to my previous one. But I was looking after all of the French stores, and I was looking after the online website as well. So I was allocating stock to the web, and it was really interesting to see the different kind of sales patterns and the different products that were popular online versus in the stores. And then after that, that was really when I made a step more towards digital. So I moved to IKEA, and I held a couple of different positions at IKEA. I was there for about 5 years. Started out in digital merchandising, which was very much kind of conversion rate optimization, digital trading, customer experience, all of that kind of thing. I then spent a bit of time in store, which was super interesting, very challenging, great from a learning perspective, but maybe not for me in the long run. And then I switched back to the digital team, where I was head of e-commerce for a year or so, before I eventually then moved to a Particular Audience. So it did feel as if with each role, it was kind of getting a shade closer towards a kind of pure digital AI role. And when I was at IKEA, we were using some AI solutions to optimize the site experience, and I had a great time integrating and working with those partners. So I think that was probably another thing that kind of encouraged me towards the switch to Particular Audience and AdTech and AI.
Yeah, I think pretty much nice journey. So today we are talking a lot about AI and its revolution in the world. And you mentioned that you also worked with this with IKEA at your place. So imagine that you're explaining AI powered retail media to a room of experienced retail directors who build their careers on physical stores. So, what resistance do you feel in that room? Where does AI empower retailers, and where does it challenge their experience or authority? And personally, also, are you more optimistic or cautious about where AI is taking retail?
Cool. I think we get, if we're talking to different retail directors, we get kind of different points of resistance, or there are different hesitations, I suppose, for different people. So if we were talking to the retail media director or head of retail media or something, they might think that they've already got it covered, and they might not see the opportunity that is on the table if they switch from manual static retail media to AI personalized retail media. Of course, we do understand that there are tons of different priorities that, someone who's head of retail media have to look after. So, maybe they're really focused on the installation of in-store screens or something at the moment. But we do, from our perspective, really think that it's important to cover off the basics really well and have that great foundation of personalized sponsored search, sponsored products, sponsored banners on site, and so on. So that might be one of the pushbacks that we get. If we were talking to the IT director, for instance, then they might think that it's going to be really complicated to enable personalization within retail media, that they'll need to replace everything and start from scratch, which really isn't the case. And we definitely would encourage people to introduce a bit of personalization to test and see the impact that it can have. We have quite a modular system, so you can literally just enable one module or one component even. So personalized sponsored products on the product page, maybe bundles or an element of reporting or something. You don't have to throw everything out and start over. And then maybe marketing directors might be a bit more concerned about losing that human touch. So think that everything's going to be automated and it's all going to be really bland. And I guess to that, we would say that, you don't have to go for everything 100% automated. But if you do enable that automation, then that saves you so much time. You can then really add an extra bit of human touch where it's super valuable. So you can still curate on top of the automation, and you can maybe be even more strategic in terms of where you do that, where you're going to make the most impact to the customer journey. So yeah, it's always great conversations when you get these guys in a room. And then, sorry, there was some other parts to your question. So you were saying,
Yes, about your personal experience with AI, how you are taking it, and actually it is more positive in your eyes, or like you see here maybe some cautious thoughts about it.
I guess I would say I'm definitely more on the optimistic side. I've seen the benefits that it can bring, and if you are personalizing your site using all of the data that your customers are generating when they're on your site, and using all of your product data, your rich product data that you already have, then that's only going to improve experience and kind of reinforce your brand identity. So long as you approach it in the right way, then I think it can have a really positive impact. Obviously, it's like causing enormous changes, so everyone needs to be mindful of it. But yeah, positive.
Yeah, I actually agree with you. We need to take it seriously, and I think we must focus more on positive sides. because it actually make the job and life for people better, and in retail media definitely. So I think you have really interesting journey, and your work, daily work, is related to operating with product, data science, commercial teams, and retailers. So maybe you can tell us more about your day, about what happened in the morning, then in the evening. It can be really interesting to hear like inside information from this side.
Sure, sure. Well, I guess as VP Customer Success, my main focus is trying to make sure that all of our customers are really happy all the time. So that involves quite a lot of client visits, for instance. It involves preparing for a lot of quarterly and monthly meetings, making sure that all of the data is there, is looking good, that we've got great insight to share. If there's any dips in the data, what's the reason for that, and what learnings can we take from it to optimize going forward. It'll also mean, the more kind of maybe mundane, responding to emails, responding to requests for support, raising tickets with developers and that kind of thing. Of course, there are quite a few internal meetings as well. So we have our team is divided between Sydney, London, and Vancouver, the main commercial members of the team. Calls with the different offices to make sure that everyone is aligned, to make sure that we're all across what's going on in all the different regions, and that we're sharing our experiences and learning from what everyone else is doing. Keeping in touch with the CTO, of course, and doing sprint planning. Quite varied. And then probably every couple of weeks, every month, I'd be maybe attending a conference or an event or something like that as well. So, maybe a day or two out to travel somewhere to do some industry networking. So, yeah.
I really liked your day. Actually, it is all about making customers more happy. I think it's about your work. So this is really important. And talking about your leadership journey, I think you have a really great path, and it would be nice if you can share your hardest moment or professional decision you made, or you can start with the greatest professional achievement that you wanted to share. And maybe you can share your lessons that you get from getting these moments in your life, maybe both hardest or like the greatest.
Sure. Thanks. I guess in terms of hard decisions, I'd probably say that, quite early on, it was quite a hard decision in a way to go into retail. When I left university, the majority of my peers were going into maybe the more traditional law, accountancy, civil service kind of roles. But having done a couple of internships and having kind of quite a strong interest in retail and design and areas like that, I was really quite keen to try and explore a career somewhere a little bit different. And it wasn't an easy journey necessarily, I would say, but I'm really, really pleased I did it. And I think that it's brought me experience in quite a few different roles. So from production through to buying and merchandising, and now to different areas of digital, from digital trading, conversion rate optimization, and customer success now. And it's given me experience in different sectors, from beauty through to fashion and now to technology. So I think that's been really enriching and has helped me in my leadership journey. I also think one of the great aspects of being a leader is that you can support your team as they are exploring and learning and finding out what really they are passionate about, if it's one area of their role, or if it's a different area of their role, or maybe it's a different role completely. And being able to support them in that journey is one of the things I enjoy the most about being a leader. And having gone through that journey myself, I think that really that does help. So
I think that's a great journey. Thank you for sharing. And also, I have a question about actually authority. So, in industries like retail and AdTech, programmatic advertising authority is often claimed rather than given. So, what would you say to women who are technically brilliant, have their paths, maybe they're in the beginning, but hesitate to position themselves as strategic decision leaders? Maybe there are some tips or advices.
sure. I think there are a couple of things I'd say. I think it all really boils down to just give it a go, just have a try. But I guess one of the first things I'd say is that, there's nothing that's more damaging to a business or more frustrating to the team around you than the leadership team making decisions in a disconnected way and not understanding the perspective of the people who are the subject matter experts. So it is really great to speak up if you are that person who is an expert on customer experience, or if you're an expert on business operations, or whatever it might be. Speak up and try and contribute, and that really does make a difference to your team and to the business. Another thing I'd say is that it is important to try to be the change that you want to see in the world. So it is, again, really kind of incumbent on everyone to try to be strong leaders, to try to be inspiring leaders, and in doing that, you influence the people around you, and other women will maybe think, oh, perhaps that's something I could do also. So sometimes you have to try to be brave and try to put yourself forward where maybe you wouldn't. And then equally, I would say it's a super rewarding thing to do. If you're leading, you get to nurture a team, and whilst you might not feel that you're within your comfort zone doing that, it is a really rewarding experience. And I suppose I speak from the perspective of someone who maybe wouldn't be an immediate obvious choice for a leader. I'm a bit quieter, I'm a bit more reserved perhaps, but it's been a great experience for me. So yeah, I'd encourage everyone to put their hand up and put themselves forward for it.
I suppose it can help a lot. And we heard really interesting stories today about your journey. And I have some, final question to sum it up. So, are you happy with your place now? Do you follow your dream? Because you told us really interesting story from getting to university, trying your different studies, then seeing that your teammates are going other ways. So are you happy? Do you have maybe dream about your future path? Tell us, to sum it up a little bit.
Yeah, very happy, and also excited for the future. I think that it's an area where there's a lot of opportunity. The role that I'm in right now is super exciting, and I think that the business is growing, so it's a cool place to be, to stretch myself. And then in the wider industry, with all the people that I'm connecting, I think it's a really exciting place to be more generally as well. So yeah, I'm pleased that I've come on the journey. As I say, it wasn't necessarily smooth sailing, plain sailing all along, but yeah, I've ended up in a good place, I think.
Thank you a lot for this great conversation. I think it can be really useful for people who are starting, for women who are doing their best every day and trying to be a leader in some way. So thank you a lot for this.
No, thank you, Polina. Thank you for running the initiative and for the thought-provoking questions. It's been great speaking to you today.